Hey guys, Scott here. You must be wondering, is he going to do this stupid gimmick where he very terribly green screens himself into the site of grace every single video? The answer is yes. Yes, I am, and it will incrementally improve every single time as I become better and better at it. Now, this is the first episode of Erdtree Armaments. I was going to call it Erdtree Arsenal, but I'm pretty sure Ouroboros would have sued me for copying the name of his series. So this is real quick. What this whole series is going to be is showing you where to get something from Shadow of the Erdtree. That'll be the first part. The next part will be how to build it properly, stat-wise, item-wise, talisman-wise. The third part will be how to use it properly. And then the last part will feature me hitting players in the face with it. It'll be also useful for PvE as well, for building it and all that stuff, but I'm not really going to go around other than showing you the damage and stuff that it does. So that's going to be the basic format. Hopefully it is to your liking, and let's start off first with the new Putrescence class of spells that we have in the DLC. So these new spells are called Mass of Putrescence and a Vortex of Putrescence. You get both of them in pretty much the exact same area. You're going to want to be in the Cerulean Coast at the absolute southern side of the entire map. I'll try to keep us light on spoilers. It's pretty convoluted on getting here. One of the easiest ways to do it is via a cave, which is, I believe, right here. So this is going to lead you all the way through some crazy shit and eventually get you down here. But you're going to want to go to the fissure waypoint once you find it. The entrance to this whole place is right here, by the way. Big hole you got to drop down. Go through this whole area. You'll get to the fissure waypoint. And this is where I currently am right now. And the first spell is very, very close. You just walk forward here. You jump right down here. And it'll be pretty... Oh, no. Okay. Oof. And it'll just be pretty much right here. Just follow this path and you'll be good to get back out. So that's where you get the first one. The next spell, the Vortex, is going to be found actually from the boss of this area, which is, again, another 20 seconds ahead of me. I won't reveal the boss, but you get it from their remembrance. First up, Mass of Putrescence. This is immediately one of my favorite spells in the game because it is extremely similar to Canon of Haima, which is, I think, my favorite spell in all of Souls. So when you cast this spell, it pretty much flies on the exact same trajectory as Canon, and it explodes into ghostflame afterwards. So it's sort of like a delayed hit version of Canon of Haima. Now, the damage is pretty much the exact same as the Canon, so it's not like there's going to be one spell that's better or worse or anything like that. The Canon is going to rely on one individual hit, and hopefully they don't dodge it, whereas this is more of a residual thing where they might roll too early because the timing is now different. It hits the ground and then explodes on top of that. If you get a direct hit with the actual orb itself, that will explode on the target that you hit and do quite a nice chunk of damage. But other than that, it's pretty much identical to Canon of Haima with a lingering effect on the ground. Additionally, it also triggers frostbite on the targets if they stay in that AoE, and that can be very, very useful. Interestingly, this used to function much, much differently when the game was not patched yet on the review copy. It used to have a much longer effect on the ground and actually did way more damage. So I'm a little sad it got nerfed, but it kind of did insane damage and proc frostbite immediately. So the next spell is Vortex of Putrescence, which again is from the remembrance of the boss in that exact same area. This spell is basically a giant it's like the Black Flame spell, but in a much bigger area. It does eventually circle inwards, so it will hit you, but it's a giant AoE that basically closes in on itself, and it is very awkward to dodge because it hits multiple times in different areas. So you have the outer rings, and then it comes into the inner rings. So it's really awkward to dodge, at least in PvP, and in PvE, it'll be able to pretty much hit anything that's in your general area because it's very hard for NPCs to actually dodge that. The damage itself is not particularly amazing. 1400 and it applies some frostbite is not super crazy, but that's still not super bad. The only downside is it requires a decent amount of faith and intelligence to cast, and it also has a pretty high FP cost. So these spells are 32 int and 26 faith for Vortex, and 28 int and 22 faith for Mass of Putrescence. So they have a decently awkward requirement, so much so that in my flask, I actually have my plus 10 faith crystal tier. So I'm running the magic shrouding for more magic damage, and then the plus 10 faith for just the ability to even be able to cast it. That being said, to cast this, you're going to want 80 intelligence. That's your soft cap. Again, the best staff for just pure damage is Lusat's Glintstone, but the Carrion Regal Scepter is also really good if you don't want to deal with the FP penalty of casting that spell. So those are the Putrescence spells. They basically are new ghostflame sorceries that apply frostbite and have similar effects to other abilities, but kind of apply them in a different way. In terms of PvP, no, the game is not out yet, so I can't PvP with anybody. So this will be the first and only episode in the series that does not actually feature me killing people with it, although I will be doing that on stream very, very soon. But that is it for the Putrescence spells. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for watching.